What up, guys? Jeff from Connecticut Transparency here. Thursday morning. Let's chit chat for a few minutes. Um, Seen some comments on some posts of people complaining about their towns, not necessarily the cops, but the towns itself. I'm just throwing this out there, and I'm probably not the best one. I have filed FOIA complaints. My complaints are not complaints, requests. My requests are always processed within a couple days because they know that fuck around and find out. They know that now because I'm suing my ex-landlord, which should bring them into the suit too at the end when he settles, because they had us living in an inhabitable house. We were there 11 years. Finally, what ended up, me and my landlord had problems because he didn't want to clear anything. He didn't want to fix anything. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But, if you're having problems in your towns, as far as you think something funny's going on and you don't feel comfortable doing a FOIA or whatever, reach out. Reach out to me. You can either reach out to me on my Facebook page, or you can also reach out to me through my email, which is ConnecticutTransparency@gmail.com. Sometimes there is retaliation, so I will definitely warn you on that. So maybe if you have a third party people come in and do the FOIA or whatever, then and we have experience as far as going to the FOIA board, actually going today with Paul Minacchio, 1175 on YouTube. He was the one the marshals attacked down in New London, took his phones, which goes to remind me he's filled out all his complaints for the incident that happened in New London on the day of Sean's protest or his arraignment or whatever. So he's dealing with that. He's filed charges for that. They're going to be transferring it. They said they're going to transfer it up to Norwich. Up to Wyndham. And I would imagine that's where Sean's case is going to, is Wyndham courthouse. So that should be interesting. Hopefully they get Judge O'Shea. He's definitely very fair. He goes by the law. He's actually interpreting right now the First Amendment with the Constitution state, whereas the Supreme Court says, interference has got to be physical unless it's fighting words or threatening violence or whatever. But the Connecticut state statute pretty much says that they can just arrest you for hindering their arrest or whatever. So it sounds like to me, and I'm not a law expert, obviously, it sounds to me that Connecticut pretty much wrote their interfering statute, which seems to me would be unconstitutional. If the Supreme Court's saying interference is physical and it's only fighting words and threatening violence, and there's no reason Danny from the Constitution state should have been arrested. So we are going to stop at 61 Woodland Street in Hartford to drop off those complaints. I seriously doubt I'm going to be able to record in there. I probably won't even try. Today I don't feel like going to jail today. As we know, the marshals can act a little crazy. So, but what I'm going to try to do is we're going to try and get his hearings scheduled for 1. They never go off on time. We know that. But I'm not going to start recording until his hearing comes on, because a lot in the previous videos that I made of foia commissions and stuff like that, the video was like an hour long, and it was only like 15 minutes of him. So I'm going to set it up. I'm going to sit in the back. Last time, Town of Canterbury's attorney tried to get me removed, which was unsuccessful, as the foia commission who was running that day said it's a public meeting, has every right to film. So we will be filming, and if it gets settled today, my first request will be in the morning to see how much it costs the town of Canterbury for him not getting public records. Excuse me, I had to have some coffee. When I mean public records, alright, this is what he asked for. He asked for names and salaries for everybody that works for the town of Canterbury. He asked for their work schedules. There's one more, but it wasn't anything. Work schedules, times of work, well, that would be work schedules. And the town of Canterbury refuses to give it to him. They made comments that they feel unsafe when we come into the town hall with cameras. Come on, you got cameras in there, so don't play that BS. It's my town. I hope they lose, because they're not all of them, but a lot of them are scumbags. They got that position. Yeah, you have them elected in, and so I can do whatever I want. I rule over you. I rule over state wetlands. I've had problems with I don't even want to get into it. It's a long story about living over there. And I lived there for 11 years, and I finally said enough is enough. You're not fixing nothing. When you fix it half-ass. He thought he was going to be slick and have his buddy that he's been dealing with for 40 years as a town building inspector. Well, the town and building inspector and the fire marshal came over, and they found 11 violations. So I guess that backfired on his ass. I have so much evidence against him. I do have a personal injury lawsuit because I did fall down the stairs. The stair broke. There's a big giant crack in the stair. And I put my foot down on it, and it let go. It just moved a tad, just to throw me off balance, enough to break my wrist. But enough about that. So me and Paul will be in Hartford probably by 12:30. We gotta go to, like I said, we gotta go to Woodland Street and drop off the complaints against all the officers. We'll see how that goes. I know the head marshal Donovan Murphy, or whatever his name is, Donovan Murphy, or Dickhead Murphy, I guess. He probably just throws them out. You don't follow the law, they don't care. That's the sad part. When I go to these foyer meetings, I listen to all the people, because they do a check-in, and, there's FOIA requests, complaints in front of the commission for almost every state agency. Seriously, almost every state, including the state police, for not giving records, public health, Department of Public Health. So, these people aren't following the law. I think FOIA should, give out a little bit more heftier fines, or do something instead of just saying, I'll give him a slap on the hand. They came up with this law a long time ago. And what he's asking for which is but technically I know somebody on the Board of Finance. He's the chairman for the town of Plainfield. And he said by state law that they have to have that on their website. I'm more apt to believe him since he's been on the Board of Finance for probably 40 years. So if that's the case, I got to look more into that. Then we're going to have to go down and have a chat. Yeah, I always enjoy going down there. Like I said, they know now I don't fuck around. I don't fuck around. If you fuck around with me, I'll definitely, you're going to find out. I want to tell you about a little text or message that I got on Messenger the other day. From a fake account, obviously, Eyes Watching Eyes. Told me that if I stay aligned with Constitution State and Paul, that I'm going down with them. I don't know if that's a warning or a threat. I'm going to continue to keep doing what I'm doing. And that's aligning with, so if I go down, I go down. I doubt I'll go down. You know why? Because I have so many lawyers begging for my cases. Maybe not begging, but willing to take my cases. Whether it's criminal, whether it's... I got lawyers for anything. And they're under retainer. So I don't mean to brag, but I would probably have to say I'm one of the most protected people in Connecticut right now due to I had a motorcycle accident in 2021. It happened to be a commercial van that pulled out in front of me, so we're talking millions of dollars in compensation for personal injury. That's how bad I was messed up. So, with those big settlements come different kinds of privileges. Obviously you'll pay in the end if you need their services or for a criminal case. They work with many people. I can't recommend BBB attorneys enough, except they have, I guess they don't really have a total understanding of the First Amendment. Which sucks. I talked to another lawyer that I happened to run into. I didn't know him. I'm like, are you a lawyer? He's like, yeah, I'm out of Hartford. And I said to him, why does anyone want to take any civil rights violations? He goes, it's not that we're scared. He goes, there's no money in it. Unless you get really, really messed up, beat up, and, I don't know, Connecticut just needs one good, I got word of an attorney out of Hartford that will probably take mostly any case. He's young, he wants to make a name for himself. His name's Gervais, he's out of Hartford. I'm going to reach out to him because obviously I got my rights violated in Willimantic by Officer Carter through the badge number 368. So I have to get a hold of this guy and see what he wants to do. I definitely got to go and file a complaint. It's been way too long. I just haven't gotten up there, and I have to be in the frame of mind. This is what I mean with a TBI, is sometimes I say things backwards, or I struggle to get words out. Which can be very frustrating. It's frustrating to have a conversation with somebody, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm sorry, what were we talking about? That's real embarrassing, frustrating. 13 staples, my hair is really long, sorry. I messed up my appointment. It was supposed to be this week, but I made it for next week. But I had 13 staples right on this lobe. Which is your memory, which is your, there's a lot of things that goes on in there. So that motorcycle accident really kind of flipped their life upside down. Recently, as you can see, I've been more active as far as YouTube, fishing. You know, I live with this pain every day, and I know I've accepted it. I'm going to live with this pain, so life has to go on. I mean, you know, I've been told by doctors to walk around, get some exercise and stuff like that. So if I have a camera in my hand, you know, a 5-ounce camera or whatever, or even my tripod's only 3.7 pounds. So that would be set up today, so at least I don't have any wiggling and wobbling around. I apologize for that. Sometimes I don't bring my tripod. I had 2 gimbals. I can't find them. I guess I'm going to have to spend the money and buy another gimbal, handheld gimbal. I have a couple of cameras that I got to learn how to work. One of them's a brand new Canon, I think EOS 7 Rebel. Or R7 or something like that. But I gotta really dive into YouTube and figure out how to work it. This is a gorgeous camera. It's got, you know, a 300 millimeter lens, and it's definitely would step up my game a little bit. But again, I'm not doing this for money. You know, I'm just trying to hold town officials accountable. Sometimes people don't, obviously they don't like that. People I've gotten, you know, threats I've gotten, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's not going to stop me. I'm still going to do what I do. I still live in the town of Canterbury. Most likely when we build our house, we're still going to live here. So they're going to have to put up with me. It doesn't matter. I don't care. And I'm sure they don't either. Which is fine, but they're not going to walk all over me. That's for sure. Of course, I won't be dealing with that. I'll have a general contractor for all that stuff. So we've already gotten our written. Has to be, because this was like 8 years ago we were going to build, and money just didn't seem to work out well. But they put a bunch of different, before all this started, so it needs a bridge, it needs a PVC pipe underneath. We have to have 1,000-foot driveway. So it probably needs $150,000 to $200,000 worth of site work right now. So we're gonna get started on that pretty soon, I would think. I got trials set up for January, and they're standing strong on that. The offers are coming. Nothing yet to even really get serious about. But we know how insurance works. You know, they want to try and lowball you or whatever. I don't mind going to trial. But I just figured I'd do a little video this morning, chit chat with you guys. It's gorgeous out. It's like 70 degrees out, 73 degrees out, something like that. I'm not doing too much this morning. I got to be at Paul's house for 11. Probably go a little bit early, maybe take him out for a coffee or whatever. He works now, so unless it's the weekends, and I don't like to bother people on the weekends, especially if they're married, because they're home, like my wife's home, you know, on the weekends. She just sits with a friend in the morning, feeds her breakfast and chit chats for a few hours. It's a family friend, so you know, so she does that Monday through Friday. It's something she likes to do. She likes the woman. She's a family friend. The woman's sick. She's Alzheimer's, so I feel it's good for my wife. It gets her out of the house instead of being in the house all day too. We usually do our thing on the weekends. I don't really do shout outs for businesses, but I'm going to shout out a business here that, you know, if you're up in the Windham County area, you're in the Brooklyn area, Windham County, and you want some really good sweets and, you know, some good vegetables and stuff, go check out Homestead Brothers on Facebook. They have a different menu every week of breads, cookies, brownies, pies, and then they have, vegetables, squash, tomatoes. They just got cucumbers, but I already bought them all because I'm buying them for a friend of mine. So go and check them out. They're located at 177 Wyndham Road in Brooklyn, Connecticut. Great family, great kids, motivated. One makes art out of welding. You definitely got to go check these guys, check them out. And that's a 10-year-old, and he's made some amazing stuff. So yeah, go check out Homestead Brothers, and I'll be back tonight with or maybe even before tonight. I don't know. With the video from the foyer. They keep trying to put it off, trying to look for reasons not to give him the public records, and we know what they're going to bring up. They're going to bring up his arrest, which doesn't have anything to do with foia. Foia doesn't even care about arrests. So I'm predicting that they will get ordered today to give him his records. Of course, they'll probably try to appeal it, but and when it's all done and said, I will foia how much it costs the town of Canterbury. Insurance doesn't cover civil rights violations, foia, stuff like that. So it comes out of the general fund from the town. Town of Mansfield spent almost $3,000 on their defense, which in the end they ended up getting told they have to give Paul the information. So town of Mansfield residents, you got screwed out of $3,000, and I'm sure Canterbury residents, which is me, is going to get screwed out of even more. Probably $5,000, I'm thinking, because they keep continuing in it, and they keep trying to make reasons why he shouldn't get the basic public information that's supposedly supposed to be on the website. But I don't know. I'm gonna go have some more coffee, and I've been up a few hours. It's kind of cloudy out. It might be a good day. We need rain bad. Rivers, ponds. I mean, I went out yesterday at 4 different places actually, and both with top water and a wacky worm, and I got nothing. I thought they'd be active because of the storms coming in, but that's all right. Can't catch one every day. It's been a while actually since I caught one. I caught a baby bass, I don't know, last week. Maybe it weighed a half a pound. But that's it. It gets me out, relaxes me. I take an edible. I can't smoke weed anymore. Well, my doctor doesn't want me smoking weed. She said take edibles. They're better for you. So I went out and got a bunch of edibles. I gave rest of my bud, my flower away yesterday. So far so good with the edibles. Got some Wonka bars. I got some of my 3,000 milligram belts. I got some 1,000 milligram drinks. There's still, I live with pain, like I said, every day, but I got to push through it, and life can't just stop. Anyway, I want you guys to all have a happy and healthy day, and we will talk to you probably tonight. Who knows? I might make a short with Paul. Have a good day.